Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to cover UI automation in UiPath. And as part of this session, I will be covering what is UI automation, then how to install browser extension, then the modern design experience, input-output activities, input-output methods. So let's get started. What is UI automation? Before understanding UI automation, let's first understand what is RPA. So RPA is robotic process automation. It means it can automate anything on your computer. What is this automation means? So this automation means here is mimicking the human action. So suppose that you interact with any browser or any application, right? So how do you interact? You interact using keyboard or mouse. So whatever presentation you see on your desktop, that is called user interface. And we want to automate this using UiPath. So this is what UI automation is called. Means mimicking your human action. So the way we interact with any application, the same way automation will interact with the applications. So let's now install a browser extension. So for that, let's go to UiPath Studio. So this is UiPath Studio. To install any browser extension, you can go to Tools, then UiPath Extensions, and here you can see various extensions are available. So for this video, we will be using Chrome application to automate. That's why we will install Chrome extension. So for that, just click on install button, and now you can see it is saying that UiPath extension is successfully installed. So we will click on OK, and let's launch Chrome browser. So once you launch, it will show a pop-up that UiPath browser automation has been added. You have to click on enable extension. So once enabled, it will be added here. So now you can see. Now we are ready to automate any website through Chrome browser. So the same way, if you want to automate anything in the Edge, you can install Edge extension. So let's build a small process to automate Google search. So for that, we'll click on process button and we'll type UI automation for project name, and then we'll click on create button. So once done, in the activities panel, we need to use browser activity. So let's type use. So now you can see there is no use application or browser activity listed here. So for that, you have to click on manage package, go to official, and then search for UI automation package. So we'll type UI automation. So now you can see this package UiPath.UI.automation.activity. Let's click on install button and save. So it will start installing this package here. So once installed, now we will be able to see all the UI automation related activities. So we will be using use application or browser activity to automate any of the browser or any application in the Windows. So in this, it is asking to indicate application to automate. So we'll just indicate Chrome browser here. For that, we will click on this link and it will take to this screen. And this is the Chrome browser you can see. We'll just click on this one. It will automatically select this one. But now as we have to automate Google website, then we have to first launch google.com here. So once it is launched, we will need to do the same thing again. So let's do that. We'll click on indicate application and we'll click on indicate. And now you can see we have the URL of the browser, which is google.com. And also in the property section, you can see its selector. If you don't understand selector, don't worry, I will make a video on that as well. So now this user browser, you can think of a container. So this is the first top level container, which means it will either launch the Chrome application or it will use the same browser if it is already open. And it has many properties. You can check these properties, but for this video, we will proceed for next step. So now we have to type something here. Like we will go with Google Finance. So for that, we will be using type into activity. So here you can see we have a type into activity. Now we have to indicate that search box. For that, we have to click on indicate in Chrome Google and we can indicate this one. By default, it takes fuzzy selector, you can see, and the computer vision. So we will just uncheck this one for now and we will proceed with a strict selector. I will explain this one as well. What is strict selector, what is fuzzy selector, computer vision or image. But for this process, let's go with a strict selector and we'll click on confirm. So once we type anything here, we will need to click on Google search. So for that, let's take one click activity. So just type click here and this is the activity. So in the click activity, you have to click here, indicating Chrome Google, and just select Google search button. So once it is done, just uncheck the computer vision for now and click on confirm. So once it is done, we have to type something here. So we'll search for Google Finance. So now what it will do, once I run this automation, it will go to the search box and then it will type Google Finance and then it will click on Google search button. So let's see how it works. So I will click on run and here you can see it is typing Google Finance, but it is not clicking on Google search button. Why? Because that is in the background, like that button is not visible here. So I will just click outside so that it starts clicking on that button. Now we will check why it didn't click on that button, right? So for that you have to go to the property section and here you can see we have an input mode. So there are different modes like same as a browser or hardware events, Simulate, Chromium API or window message. So these are input methods. So now we will learn what is the difference between those input methods or input modes. So here you can see in hardware event we have compatibility with 100%, like 100% application it will support. But how hardware events work, right? Hardware events is like simulating your actual mouse click or keyboard button clicks. So suppose that you are moving your mouse here and then clicking on a button. So this is the same way hardware events will simulate it and it is compatible with all the applications. But the background execution it doesn't support, because to simulate all the hardware events, you are the UI element, right? That should be visible, and the speed you can see it is medium and hotkey it supports. So suppose that you have to use some a special key like Control, Shift, Enter or any button, right? So you can use with hardware events. Auto empty field, no. So if you are typing anything there in like any text box, it will not auto empty that field. Then the next one is send window message. So send window message is like it is compatible for 80% of the applications. It supports background execution. Its speed is also medium. It also supports hotkey. It also doesn't empty the text box or text fields. Then the next one is Simulate. It supports 99% of web apps and 60% of desktop applications. Background execution, yes, it supports. Its speed is very high because it simulates on that particular UI element which you are targeting through the activities. It doesn't support any hotkey and it will auto empty the text boxes. Then we have Chromium API. So this Chromium API will support with all the browser that is based on Chromium. So like 100% it will support on Chrome or Edge browser. It supports background execution. Its speed is medium. It also supports the hotkey and it also auto empties the text boxes. So let's see here. So here as we saw that Google search button was in the background, it didn't work. So for that we will use Simulate one now. Then it will click on Google search even though that pop-up is there. So let's see if it works. So we'll click on run button. So now you can see it clicked on Google search button by default. So this is how UI automation looks like. So now what are input methods? So whatever UI automation activities are available in UiPath, using which we give some input to the application or browser, that is called input activities. For example, so here you can see list of activities here, and here you can see click or type into, set text, set value, all are input activity. Now when I talk about output activities, so if you want to extract some data from any of the application, like if you want to use get text activity, extract form data, get browser data, so all these activities are called output activities. So let's now do one thing. So we have searched Google Finance. So let's launch Google Finance here and we will try to extract this data from here. For that we will build one new automation. So let's click on new sequence and put Google Finance. Again we will be using use application browser. Then we'll indicate this Google Finance browser, and then what you have to do, we have to extract this information here like this table. So for that we will be going to use table extraction, and in the table extraction you have to indicate any of the element present in this table. So I am indicating this one, and now it is saying that a table was detected using computer vision. Would you like to extract the table? I will click on yes. So now we have all the data extracted here. We can click on preview to see what all data is extracted. Now let's save and close. So once it is done, it has created a data table variable, extract data table. So this extract data table we will be showing in a message box. For that we will be using data table activity. So there is one activity, output data table as text. Let's use this one. So we have to pass the data table variable name, which is extract data table, and we'll take one a string as output. So we'll put output text here. Now let's take one message box. So now what it will do, it will go to Google Finance. It will extract the data from there then it will convert that data table into a text format, and then this message box will show the output. So let's run it. So now you can see it has extracted the data. So Mahindra and Mahindra, and it has extracted the numbers as well. It has extracted first 3 rows, but we can also extract other rows and other columns as per our need. So this is from browser. Now what if you want to extract some data from an image? So for that, what you will do? So for that, we have one activity, get OCR text. This one. For that, let's create a new sequence, image data. We will be using one image. I already have one image, so we'll use this one. Let's copy this in the project folder. I already created this image for this video purpose. Now you can see this is an image. We have to indicate this using this activity. So let's indicate this one. And it is currently using UiPath document OCR, which requires API key or endpoint. But as we want to use some open source OCR, we will be using Tesseract one. So let's search for Tesseract OCR and delete this one. Put it here, and let's take the output in a string and show the same in a message box. So now you can see it has extracted some data, but there are some variances, like it has written some incorrect text. So it depends on the accuracy of the OCR engine you want to use, and it also has some properties which you can modify as per your need. You can also use other OCRs which UiPath provides, like UiPath Document OCR, Google Cloud Vision OCR, Microsoft Azure Computer Vision OCR, but these are all paid OCRs and you will need API keys from their respective websites. I hope in this session you have learned how to interact with browser activities, how to automate a website using UiPath. Thanks for watching and see you in the next session.